This podcast is not intended to provide any investment advice. The opinions expressed here by either the hosts or guests do not necessarily reflect the views of PSA, Collectors Holdings, or any of their affiliates. Any discussion of collectible values in the past or present is not a guarantee of future performance.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the PSA Pod. Ryan Greene, Jack Archer, Chris McGill, producer Drew, we're all here. It's Super Bowl week, and we're going to talk some football today. We're going to jump right in, stock up, stock down, and it's a basketball-heavy stock up, stock down, because there's a lot going on in the association right now that affects the hobby, but we're going to start stock up, Jack, 2022 Prism football design just released.
The hobby doesn't always love Prism designs, or at least upon reveal, but this time it's different. Everybody loves the design, and I cannot remember the last time this has happened. So it's just really cool to see this like warm positivity, but I also love the design. It looks really, really good. They're bringing back the super short print favorites like Manga and Color Blast. They're throwing it back to 2012 with the original Prism design. They've done that for basketball 2 years in a row. This is the first time they've done it for football. I'm really excited for this release, even with a somewhat weaker rookie class. And it's cool to see the hobby also excited about this rather than complaining. It's just really good to see.
I'm a big fan. I think it's really strong in a lot of ways. For me, the little detail that I love, seeing the mock-ups of rookie cards of quarterbacks like Kenny Pickett and Malik Willis, this is the first Prism product since 2019, I believe, that is going to actually include rookie photo shoot photos of some of the top rookies. They actually had the rookie premiere photo shoot this year. They didn't have it the last couple of seasons because of COVID. So the last couple of years with Prism, with a lot of the top rookies, it was college action photos with photoshopped NFL jerseys on them. I've always been a big NFL rookie premiere photo shoot fan. It's why I love 90s football cards so much. So this is a really nice touch to me, and I'm really excited for it. Stock up. We got to talk about the record breaker, soon to be record breaker, depending on when you're listening to this. At the time of this recording, he hasn't broken the record yet, but LeBron James about to become the NBA's all-time scoring leader, a record that many people for a long time didn't think would be broken. How are we feeling about LeBron this week? It seems like the hobby, he's buzzing again this week. And really last week, I started to notice it picking up.
I mean, he's one of the greatest ever. And it's crazy how the hobby can be so reactionary at times. When Russell Westbrook misses a big shot or Anthony Davis gets injured, everyone kind of like forgets about LeBron's greatness in totality. And it's nice that we're having this giant reminder of it. But Chris, I'm curious what the numbers look like in terms of card ladder data and his pricing right now.
LeBron's index on card ladder hasn't moved in either direction over the last month, which actually is good, because if we use the overall basketball index as the barometer, it's down almost 3% over the last month. So LeBron is performing well relative to the basketball card market as a whole. The thing that's always tricky about momentous occasions like this that we can see coming, months, even years in advance, is that a lot of the excitement about it gets built into it long before the event actually occurs. But with that said, there is something special about when it happens. And if you're a LeBron fan or a fan of the sport or somebody interested in GOAT and Mount Rushmore discussions, you can't really synthesize the experience of watching it happen. And that can have an effect on collectors to make them want to go out and add some LeBron cards to their collection.
So a bonus stock up with that said, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. His name is out there with, basketball fans, collectors right now, because that's whose record LeBron is about to break. Are we seeing anything in terms of an uptick with Kareem's market? Because he has a really interesting spread of cards that stretch from that true vintage age of the late 1960s all the way up through the late 1980s.
It's a great question. And it's a mixed result right now, as many things in our market are. Kareem, over the last year, his card ladder index is up 44%. And it's kind of hard to figure what's making Kareem's index go up 44% when the basketball card index as a whole is down 42%. Well, part of it is that there's been a surge in interest in vintage of all sports, and Kareem's rookie cards fall into that category. I think that's part of it, but Kareem is even outpacing the vintage index. So I think that there's a spillover effect that happens because, Kareem's held this record for 40 years or however long it is. It hasn't really been a hot topic in a long time. But now that it is a hot topic, and now that we're celebrating LeBron achieving and surpassing Kareem's record, it makes us say, well, damn, Kareem must have been a pretty special player as well. And then you go look at his legacy and his accolades and the 6 titles and the 6 MVPs and all the different longevity statistics that he achieved, and the fact that he dominated the league in a lot of different categories over the course of over a long span in his career. It wouldn't surprise me if there was some group of collectors who said, you know what, Kareem, I'd like to have a little bit of Kareem in my collection.
Stock up. Chris, we're going back to the well. This is your guy, Luka. Interesting week for Luka because he's sort of the beneficiary, I guess you could say, of the Kyrie Irving trade, in that, I think the general opinion is that in the short term, this is a good thing for Luka. Really adds a lot of offensive firepower to the Mavs lineup as they prepare for the postseason run. What are you seeing? What do you think, especially as a Luka super collector like you are?
Yeah, everything surrounding Luka hobby-wise has always been this high-risk, high-reward scenario. And, that's partially a byproduct of the fact that he's one of the most expensive active players to collect. His prices are not properly in sync with his accomplishments. And that's not to take anything away from Luka. It's just to say when his prices are this high, the level of expectation is enormously high. And he hasn't done anything. I mean, he's made 3 first-team All-NBAs, which is really nice. But the expectation here is multiple MVPs, multiple championships, and an all-time great caliber career. So, there's this high-risk, high-reward thing with Luka where, if it doesn't work out, you're going to get killed. But if it does work out, you got to be a part of something pretty special as a collector. Now, Kyrie is like that same thing again. It's a very high-risk, high-reward scenario where you bring in a player who, by most metrics, has been a top 10 player in the NBA this year. You bring him in. He was an all-star starter in the East. Luka was an all-star starter in the West. 538 Raptor, improved the Mavericks' full-strength rotation rating to be the best in the league after this trade. So on paper, looks amazing. But then we know all of the other stuff that comes along with Kyrie and all the baggage. And quite frankly, it can be difficult to root for Kyrie for a number of reasons. So you put it all together and it adds even more of a sweat, as the gamblers say, to the Luka collecting experience.
Here's why I'm excited. Luka plays very similarly to LeBron, and Kyrie and LeBron won a championship together. So you can totally see this working. Everyone's sincerely worried about the defense, and there's truth to that. But I'm just really excited for Luka to have like a true running mate that can allow this team to step on the gas, because after this, there's going to be a lot less excuses, and we'll see how for real Luka really is.
Very true. No more Luka needs help signs being displayed in the American Airlines Center.
All right, we're going to go to stock down, but this is stock down that changes in real time. We were going to say Kevin Durant. Post Kyrie Irving trade, Kevin kind of left alone in Brooklyn. But now the way things happen this week around the trade deadline, Kevin Durant finds himself in the middle of the biggest blockbuster of the week. He's headed to the Phoenix Suns. So, Jack, stock up with Kevin Durant? I mean, how do we look at this?
Biggest blockbuster of the week, biggest blockbuster of the year. That was not just a Woj bomb. That was like a nuclear Woj bomb when that news dropped. I am really, really hyped on the Suns. I think they are far and beyond the best team in basketball on paper. I think they have to be like the Vegas odds-on favorite to win everything at this point. That is a loaded lineup. I do love Mikal Bridges, though, and he was a really, really big part of that team, especially defensively. But KD's like what, top 15, top 20 player all time?
Mm-hmm.
Suns are going to be dangerous. And I think Kevin Durant cards are going to get hot. I think Devin Booker cards are going to get hot. I think CP3 cards are going to stay probably pretty neutral. But it's going to be fun to see it all play out. And bold prediction, the Mavericks and Kyrie and the Suns and KD are going to meet in the playoffs at some point. And then you add in that extra layer of theatrics with the Luka, Devin Booker kind of always like fighting with each other. It's going to be fun. It's a good time to be a basketball fan.
So from a personal standpoint, you, as everyone who listens to the show knows, you're a Devin Booker collector. You're a Devin Booker guy. This has to have you pretty excited on a personal collecting level.
Book is my dude. I love my Devin Booker cards. And I'm very excited, but I also am a little bit worried because unless Devin Booker is like the finals MVP and they win everything, everyone's going to really relate this to Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant finally took the Suns to the next level. He's incredibly young. I think he's only 25 right now. Very long career ahead of him. He's going to be playing for a decade plus after Kevin Durant retires. So there's plenty of room for him to kind of do things completely on his own. But in the short term, I think it's going to be good for Devin Booker cards. But if they win, it like he really, really needs to show up in a big way and remind everyone that like he is one of the best shooting guards in the game, if not the best shooting guard in the game right now.
With everything going on with the trade deadline this week, anyone who either they moved or someone moved to their team where you're like, that might be someone I want to try collecting now based on moves that have happened this week, or is it kind of too early to tell?
It's not only too early to tell. I think there's a lot of like role players. No collectors are going out and buying some Jay Crowder cards.
Probably
right now. Even though, I mean, he's such a hot and cold player, but when he's hot, like he's certainly a winning player. Nothing really like strikes me. Mm-hmm. Like I'm not really hyped on Bones Highland cards. So as of right now, like there's nothing that really changes things for me. I do think if you are a Mikal Bridges collector, he just felt so right in Phoenix for whatever reason. But Brooklyn Bridges, there's something there. There's some marketability there. And he might go on a run. So we'll see.
East Coast guy, played college ball at Villanova. I like it potentially down the line. And it could be a good time to go get some of his cards.
Yeah. There's nothing like NBA trade deadline. It's just so much fun. And everything about sports is better with cards.
All right. Well, let's move to stock downs. He's been the darling of the hobby and the darling of this show for a few weeks, but we got to say it, Brock Purdy. The 2022 products, the flagship ones, are really about to start hitting the market in these next few months. We talked about Prism. Purdy was a guy who many people thought was going to be carrying these products based on his late season performance, the Niners' run in the playoffs. Jack, do you still feel the same way that Brock Purdy cards are going to be as desirable in these products, or do you think he took a little bit of a hit with the way things ended?
I think they're going to be severely desired, just not as they would be if they went to the Super Bowl, if they won the Super Bowl. And that should be obvious. Frankly, I'm just very excited for the theatrics of this summer, of this quarterback controversy, everything going on with Trey Lance, with Brock Purdy. How that shakes out will be, honestly, just like riveting sports content. And I think that will reflect kindly on the hobby as people kind of pick their guy and go from there.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's going to be a lot of quarterback carousel movement this offseason. People are already gearing up for it for the start of the league year coming up next month. It's going to be thrilling. But I do agree. I think he's still going to be very buzzy going into next season. Still feels like he's going to be the guy in San Francisco going forward. But we'll see how that shakes out in the hobby. All right, now we're going to get to some really fun football content talk here because Drew, last week, he busted out the Louis baggage for the hit draft. This week, we've got a Super Bowl quarterbacks hit draft. We're going to see what Drew's got up his sleeve after we take a quick break here and jump into it, talk some big grails. Hey there, guys. While we take this quick break, I did want to just drop back in to tell you a bit about our first wave of Collectors Club exclusive grading specials that we just made available until the end of February. There are 3 of them, actually. The largest amount of grading specials we've offered in a single month since reintroducing them in 2022 here at PSA. First, backed by popular demand, is our TCG and non-sports grading special, which gives you access to grade your cards at just $15 a piece. This covers everything from Pokemon to Marvel, and you can grade anything manufactured from 1980 to present day. So if you're ripping the new Pokemon Crown Zenith product or some recent Star Wars releases, this special is perfect for you. Also at $15 a card is our vintage grading special, eligible for everything produced in 1989 and earlier. We know you guys have been asking for this one for a while, and it's now here. This special is perfect for PSA set registry members who are building sets and competing on the platform. Got a set to grade out? This is the perfect time to start sending it in big pieces. And finally, we're introducing a Super Express grading special for the month of February as well. Our Super Express level normally costs $300 per card for grading or $390 per card for dual grading. Now, it's just $200 per card for grading, $260 per card for dual this month alone. This is great for those high-end pieces you've been sitting on from elite products such as National Treasures and Flawless, or if you've got those big low-numbered parallels, those one-of-ones you want to grade, right now is the time to do it at Super Express and get them back quick from PSA. And once again, these specials are exclusive to our Collectors Club members. So visit psacard.com/join now to learn about the benefits of membership and to register. For full details on these grading specials themselves, visit psacard.com/specials and get those submissions ready to send in. All right, we're back and it's hit draft time. Last week, like we said, Drew busted out the Louis for our NBA All-Star Starters hit draft. Jack, what are we looking at here?
We're looking at a Go Yard briefcase. Excellent, tasteful choice by our man Drew. It's got this repeatable PSA pattern on top of it, nodding to its signature monogram look. It's a fresh look. If you rolled up to the National with this, it would definitely be a move.
People would know there's something significant in there.
Yeah, there's no like bowl base PSA 9 prism in that thing. Nothing but the good stuff.
We're talking bowl one-of-one black finite prism in there. Basically.
And then some. Yeah.
And then some. So we've got 9 cards. We got the 3-man hit draft. We're going to crack open the case and go one by one and see what we got. You guys ready?
Let's go.
Let's go. All right.
Let's go.
First up. Ooh, we're going big and modern right off the bat. We got 2020 Panini Flawless Rookie Signature Sapphire. Jalen Hurts, signed rookie card. Number 1 out of 10. It's a dual grade PSA 9/9.
Stunning card. I dig it. I really like on-card flawless autos. They always feel a little underpriced to me compared to like the true RPAs. They always seem like, considering how expensive flawless is, how flashy and dramatic it is, how they embed like precious stones into the actual cards. The on-card auto should be going for more than they are, but they're like a small fraction of the cost of a true flawless RPA.
As someone who just recently splurged on one of these of another quarterback, I totally agree. These are underappreciated, probably a little undervalued, and great choice for getting Jalen Hurts in here. That's about as good as it gets, in my opinion. All right, we got a classic, Jack, up next.
Can't beat this. 2017 Panini Optic Patrick Mahomes Hollow PSA 10. I love the oversized rated rookie badge on 2017 Optic so much. It's got big Friday Night Lights feels, great, awesome Mahomes photo. I dig this card. I actually own this card for roughly 5 minutes at the National. I got it in a trade. Wasn't interested in this one specifically and was able to turn it around. This was a few years ago when this card was about 3x as much money.
Yeah.
And I was able to turn it around for something else pretty quickly, but literally walked like 3 tables down and made a move with it.
I know that a lot of people, Chris, are always, Prism over optic. I'm an optic guy, and I feel like in 2017, that's especially true. I love optic in 2017 so much.
Indeed. And I like how that year of football distinguished optic from Don Russ by having the players wearing the helmet or not. I think that was the year they did that. And I know they did it in 2018 as well. So it's neat too how the optic is a little bit distinguished from the Don Russ. Optic hollow, a classic hobby short print that comps in a similar ballpark usually to the Prism Silver, although we know that Mahomes doesn't have a Prism base, he only has a Prism Silver. But the point remains is that optic hollows are short printed, they look great, they're tough to grade, they're short prints relative to some of their peer cards from other products. It's tough to go wrong with an optic hollow.
All right. Up next, the GOAT. Ooh, I know Jack loves X-Fractors.
I love X-Fractors, and I love Topps Finest during this era. This is a 2006 Finest Tom Brady Blue X-Fractor PSA 10. This is like like your favorite collector's favorite card type of card. What a beauty. Number to 150, pop 3 in a PSA 10 grade.
Kind of shocked there's only 3 PSA 10s of this. That really adds a level of intrigue to this card on top of everything else. All right. Next up, card number 4. Ooh, another GOAT. And this is a tough one to grade. We got the 1981 Topps number 216 Joe Montana rookie card. When it comes to vintage football, this one always hits with me. I loved this card growing up. I have one now. I've owned it a couple different times. Centering was incredibly tough on this product. The PSA 9 is a really nice grade. I'm actually surprised the final sale price of this example we're seeing was only about $1,500. Great card.
Yeah. To paint a picture of how difficult this card is to get in a PSA 9 grade, our colleague Steve Stent, he leads PSA autograph, PSA tickets, and PSA packs. He ripped a box in 1981 Topps, like his birthday or some special occasion, and pulled this card. And it looked really, really clean. He was so excited. He brought it in. He showed everybody. He's like, I think I have a really, really good shot on this one. Everybody looked at it. Looked really, really clean. Submitted it for grading. Came back a few days ago, PSA 6.
I knew you were going to say 6. I don't know how.
I thought you were going to say 8. I was trying to be optimistic, but
Yeah, so a 9 in this is the real deal. Iconic player. I mean, Joe Burrow is quite cool, but the original Joe Montana is even cooler.
Yeah. All right, next up, coming back to modern. Ooh, this is a good one. We got Drew Brees.
So randomizer.org blessed me with the number 1 pick. And as of right now, I'm taking this one. 2014 Finest Drew Brees Superfractor 1 of 1 PSA 10. I mean, it's Drew Brees. It's a Superfractor. I mean, as much as I love Brady, as much as I respect Mahomes' game, I mean, I respect Superfractors just so much more. And this card is stunning. And the Superfractor, like gold vinyl look with the Saints uniform, it's kind of like a color match too. It's unreal. What a beautiful card.
I was going to say the gold team color match of a Superfractor. I don't know that you can top that. This is a beautiful card. A little surprised at the sale here. This is $2,300. It's a nice price to get in on a card like this.
Yeah, sneaky buy. Shout out to the savvy buyer who picked this one up.
Now, let me explain to you guys why this card is terrible and you should not draft this card. You should just let this card go. Don't take this one, please.
Little obvious there. Next up, we got some more gold. This is a rookie card. 1998 Fleer Brilliance Gold Peyton Manning. Numbered out of 99. PSA 8.
This card is really, really nice too. You serial numbered late 90s cards, especially of one of the greatest to ever do it, which is Peyton Manning. That's a really, really nice combo. The design is fantastic too. I'm not a huge fan of his Topps or Topps Chrome or Bowman Chrome cards for Peyton, but this card is something.
Jack, what do you think about the rookie logo in the top left. I mean, it's no rated rookie, but it pops to me. A lot of cards from the 90s didn't necessarily have a rookie logo whatsoever. The fact that this is a gold parallel from Fleer Brilliance out of 99 and it's got that rookie logo, it makes the card really pop to me. But I wonder how does that logo appeal to you?
I dig it. You're right. Nothing compares to rated rookie, but I have such nostalgia for these extremely 90s designs that I come at it a little bit jaded, but I will share a different perspective. Jeff on the magazine team, brilliant designer and pretty new to cards. And I was showing him some of these like 90s grails and he was like, what is going on with these designs? When he first started, I just don't understand. Like these are so like, wow, like what is going on here? Flash forward a few weeks, he's like, these like the detail in these are incredible. Like I have you seen this one? Like they actually did a die cut. He just has completely fallen headfirst into this era of cards, and I think it speaks to some of the decisions they made and the chances they took might not necessarily be safe or clean, but are brilliant in their own way. No pun intended for this 1998 Fleer Brilliance Gold.
I wish it was blue though. The rookie logo, it has this like maroon tint to it. I wish it was blue. Then all the colors on this card, the gold, the gray, silver, the blue, and the white, they would all line up perfectly.
Gonna have to settle for gold. All right, next up, we're going vintage. This is really nice vintage. Ooh.
Johnny Unitas, 57 tops, 138 rookie card, PSA 7. I mean, iconic card, iconic player.
It's hard to, words almost don't even do this justice. If you love vintage, this is about as cool as it gets. And the photo of the back of the card too. Enough said.
Iconic.
I believe we got 2 cards left. Oh boy.
Speaking of iconic.
Oh boy.
1965 tops, Joe Namath, PSA 4.
It's
got that tall boy case.
Oh boy.
The style points an oversized PSA case adds to a rookie card is a real thing.
Man, I will say last year, I think I talked about it on the show. I reread his biography last year and was just so fascinated by him as a historical like pop culture figure, not just an athlete.
Yeah, you were coming to the office wearing white fur coats after.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I had the shades, the boots, everything. And I went and did a lot of digging on his 1960s AFL cards, and I could not believe, again, I'm not incredibly versed in the vintage market. I could not believe how expensive this card is, even in a lower end grade. Like this card is so revered in the hobby for so many reasons and it goes beyond what he did as a player, which, people have their thoughts on, as just a cultural icon from the 60s and 70s. This card really says a lot to me.
One of the most important football cards.
Easily.
Full stop.
I believe we're on our last card here, Drew. Correct me if I'm wrong. Ooh.
This is the most expensive card in terms of price realized on Golden.
Ooh.
I have a feeling this might be the least desirable card in this whole thing. 2012 National Treasures, Russell Wilson, true RPA, numbered to 99, PSA 9. But here's where it gets interesting.
Mm-hmm.
The patch is like the full Seahawks logo in a really big way. I can't even imagine how much this card was coveted just a few years ago.
This patch is everything to me. And I love a really good patch on an RPA, and it's really hard to think of something better than this. I think this kind of goes back to talking about, how much are you affected by recency bias with Russell Wilson and everything going on there on the field. I think when you step back and look at the bigger picture of what he's been as a player, this is an incredible card. It's just, how does it stack up right now in the moment compared to all these others? I think we're going to find out.
In the original Spider-Man movie with Tobey Maguire, and the Green Goblin had like his alter ego's voice in his head at all times. I feel like I would have Russell Wilson saying, "Let's ride" in my head every time I looked at that on my desk. That's the problem with this card. As cool as it is, it's just, it's going to be a skip for me.
Oh boy. All right. So
You sure you don't want that over the breeze?
well, we're gonna get into it. Jack, you're up. Pick number 1. What are you taking?
I mean, I already kind of spoiled it. It is close. There are, like, I really like the Peyton Manning card, the Montana PSA 9, the Joe Namath, the Brady X. Like, there's a lot of great cards in this fictitious Goyard case of golden grails. But I got to go with the Drew Brees Superfractor PSA 10. It's a Superfractor. That's it.
So I'm up number 2. Chris has 2 picks after me before my next one. I feel like this card might be there at pick 5, but I'm not 100% sure, and I don't want to risk it. I really, really, really want that Joe Namath. I'm taking it. I mean, like I said, the historic significance. I'm big on history with the hobby. It fuels a lot of choices I make as a collector with older stuff. And as far as a piece of football hobby history, the chance to get this in a really good looking PSA 4, I'm taking it.
All right. This isn't too complicated or tricky for me because there are 2 cards left on the board that are right up my alley. I covet that Drew Brees quite a bit, especially as a PSA 10. That would have been my first pick. But since I can't go that direction, here's how I'm going to go. I'm going to go with the Peyton Fleer Brilliance Gold rookie out of 99 PSA 8. Great 90s card. We sung its praises sufficiently already. But that's 90s right up my alley. Plus, he has the most MVPs in NFL history, which I really admire. And then the other card I'm going to go with is the guy who has the most championships in NFL history. That's Tom Brady. I'm going to take his finest blue X-Fractor PSA 10 Pop 3. It's numbered to 150. It's a beautiful looking card. 2007 was actually the year that Tom Brady set the single highest QBR for a single season in NFL history. I would love it if it was in 07 because of what that would mean to me. But I'll take 06. He was still pretty darn good even before that. So I'm going to go with those 2 guys. Sorry.
So I do got to ask, I could have passed on the Namath and still gotten it at 5, huh?
Correct.
Even if I took Brady at 2?
Oh, if you took Brady at 2, then it gets a little trickier for me. But I think I would go with the Unitas before I went with the Namath.
Well, you spoiled it because I'm going to take Johnny U. I'm going all vintage here. Something about that Namath just kind of like lit the fire in me. So now the chance to go get something like that Johnny Unitas rookie card in a relatively high grade, I'm not letting that pass.
Joe Montana's left.
Yeah.
PSA 9. I have to take that. I would love to pair that with a nice Jerry Rice rookie card too. Have those side by side on the display. Got to take that one.
What are you going with your second pick here?
We get a snake draft, huh?
Yeah.
That's how you do it. I think I'm going to do the Jalen Hurts.
Okay.
It's a PSA 9 auto 9, not desirable, but it is flawless. The Eagles might take this thing. And if the Eagles win, that card is going to skyrocket much more than I think the Patrick Mahomes optic hollow is. But visually, I really like that optic hollow. But in terms of using this card to advance my collection elsewhere, I think I got to go with the Jalen Hurts flawless on-card auto out of 10.
So that leaves the baby goat, Patrick Mahomes, or let Russ cook for me. I'm gonna take the RPA.
Yeah, you have to, man. It's too valuable. It's just you have to do it.
That patch is impossible for me to pass on, but it also comes down to the fact that if I still want to get that Patrick Mahomes PSA 10 optic hollow, I can go get it.
Totally.
You get 3 of them.
Yeah, it's probably not going to reach the ceiling that it was at in about 2019, 2020 again. So I feel pretty confident that it'll be attainable for me beyond this. But a patch like that, I think Russell's probably one of those QBs will be, I'm going to say, a lot more valued probably once he's done playing than he is right now, given his current form. So I'm all in on that card at this spot.
How crazy is it that the quarterback who's going to bring up the rear in our hit draft is Patrick
I know.
Mahomes. But that's a testament to the fact that it's not in any way, shape, or form all about the player. The player matters, but the card, the set, the product, the legacy, the history, all that stuff matters a lot too.
And that's what makes cards so great. There's true art and true curation on top of player performance. If it's just player performance, there's no soul. You're just, you might as well just be playing FanDuel or something.
Exactly.
But all of these intangibles, all these little things that we all obsess over is what makes this hobby so special and so fun.
Well, let's close on this. Chris, the final pick was Patrick Mahomes. You have an Optic Apollo PSA 10 in your possession. Come next Monday when we're ready to record another episode, are you celebrating a 2-time Super Bowl champion?
Holy crap. I can't believe the Eagles remain favored. It's only by 1.5 points, but Patrick Mahomes, an underdog in back-to-back weeks. I don't know if that's ever happened before. And for it to be the conference championship, then the Super Bowl is pretty mind-boggling to think about. I'm going to have to say, I think I'm going to be holding the card of the soon-to-be two-time NFL MVP and soon-to-be two-time champion and two-time Super Bowl MVP as well.
We'll talk a little bit about that next week. Plus, we'll dabble on some guys we might be looking to pick some cards up of the off season before we put football hobby talk to bed for a little bit. For Jack Archer, for Chris McGill, I'm Ryan Greene. This has been another episode of PSA Pod. We'll talk to you again next week.